We'll now hear from our media panel, Paul Johnson of 570 News. Paul.
Voter turnout is always a question for municipal elections. It seems that the federal elections get more voter turnout, or at least there's more conversation about it when it's a federal issue, and you would think that the municipal issues would draw more people out. What do you believe needs to be done locally to encourage more people to get out and exercise their right to vote?
We'll hear first from candidate Scott Piatowski.
Well, thank you for the question. That's actually one of my principal concerns in this campaign, and I think that the City of Kitchener should be absolutely embarrassed that we have one of the lowest voter turnouts in the province of any municipality. And after the last election, when we had a quarter of people show up to vote, the City of Kitchener appointed a committee to study voter turnout. It met 3 times. It has not met since 2007. It's not implemented any recommendations. I can assure you that if I had been on the committee, it would have met a lot more than 3 times, and it would have achieved something. I think that the city needs to offer more opportunities for advance voting. It needs to look at alternative means of voting, such as electronic and mail-in ballots. It needs to educate voters about the importance of voting by having a non-candidate specific voter education campaign, and I'd be advocating that as a councillor.
Thank you, candidate Scott Piatowski. We'll now hear from candidate Zig Yanetsky.
Unfortunately, voter turnout for municipal elections has been the lowest of all 3 levels of government, and it's interesting that I would figure would be the most popular, because it's like one-stop shopping. You can vote for the mayor, you vote for regional councillors, you vote for regional chairperson, you vote for trustees. You've got a list of about 8 to 10 people that you can vote to, so it allows you for a great opportunity to choose a wide variety of people for the different positions, as opposed to the provincial and federal. I had sat on the city's voter turnout committee, and we did review analysis from various other municipalities that had tried and experimented with electronic voter turnout and other means of advertising that they have done. There have been some drawbacks and difficulties in implementing them, and our city clerk from the City of Kitchener had sort of thought that the difficulty of doing that would be not successful at this point in time, and so we're still continuing on with the regular approach that's happening right now.
Thank you, candidate Zig Yanetsky. We'll now hear from candidate Bill Pegg.
Voter engagement, excuse me, is a problem with everyone. 33 or 35% voter turnout. There's obviously a lot of people not voting from all age groups. And anybody who's ever done anything with the city on any committees, anybody who's ever worked in minor sports, anybody who's ever done any volunteer work understands that engagement is always an issue. What do we do to engage people? What do we do to get more participation? I don't have a magic bullet. It would be nice if we could vote electronically or through the internet or something, but I could see where that could cause some issues as well. And I'm not even sure that would be the ticket. So, frankly, perhaps it's just something that requires more study. We've been talking about engagement in various things for years, so it is
Thank
what it
you,
is.
candidate Bill Pegg. We'll now hear from our media panel, Helen Kaluzhny of Rogers TV. Helen.
Thank you. The issue of amalgamation is on the ballots in both Waterloo and Kitchener, whether or not to discuss the possibility of a merger between the cities at this point. I'd like to know how each of you feels about this issue, and depending on how the electorate votes, if it's different from your own position, how you would deal with that.
We'll hear first from candidate Zig Yanetsky.
Well, the issue of amalgamation has been very quiet on the campaign trail for me. I do take a position of open engagement of communication, and that's what basically is the issue of the referendum that has been put on the ballot, is to just have dialogue, and I am in support of that. When I came to Kitchener in '73, regional government took place, and I noticed, as working as a city employee, some of the challenges of not having certain departments work together with the city of Kitchener versus the city of Waterloo, and with the region, because some of the services were kept by the cities themselves, and some of them have been transferred over to the regions, such as, example, the fire departments were kept separately, whereby the police departments were amalgamated into one. There is a lot of opportunity for investigation. I don't know whether it's the right step forward of doing amalgamation, but I'm supportive of exploration, discussion, and dialogue with both the City of Waterloo and the City of Kitchener representatives.
Thank you, candidate Zig Yanetsky. We'll now hear from candidate Bill Pegg.
I haven't made up my mind on amalgamation, but one thing I do know is that I am going to support the question. I am not afraid to talk about it. In fact, unless we talk about it, how are we ever going to decide whether it's something we want to pursue? At the end of the day, though, if we do talk about it, we have to engage in a discussion that is fact-based and bring some information to the table that everybody can grab a hold of and make a decision. So I'm in favor of the question. Whether or not we amalgamate or not, I still haven't made up my mind.
Thank you, candidate Bill Pegg. We'll now hear from candidate Scott Piatowski.
My intention at this point is to vote no on the referendum question, and that's simply because I think it's important that if people are promising to change or proposing to change the status quo, that they make the case on why that's necessary. And I've yet to hear someone make a compelling argument that amalgamation is a necessary path to follow. I think that we can consolidate services, we can cooperate on the delivery of services, without having to do political amalgamation and upset people's sense of who they are in their community. And having said that, I will totally respect the outcome of the referendum, and I will work to implement whatever decision voters make on October 25th. It's really up to them, and I await their verdict.
Thank you, candidate Scott Piatowski. That concludes the question and answer segment of our debate this evening for the City of Kitchener Ward 8. I'd like to take this brief moment now to thank our media panel guests, Paul Johnson of 570 News, Helen Kluzhny of Rogers TV. Thank you so much for your questions, and thank you, candidates, for your answers. We'll now move into the closing statements of our debate this evening. Candidates will have 1 minute in which to present their closing statements. We'll start by hearing closing statements from candidate Scott Piatowski.
Well, thank you very much to Rogers and 570 News for arranging this opportunity for us to engage with one another. It's actually the first time that the three of us have been together on a stage, and there will be a few other times throughout the campaign, but this is really the one opportunity that voters throughout the region have to see us together. And I think that's welcome. So thank you very much for that opportunity. Now, it's obvious that both of my opponents are quality individuals, and certainly in suggesting that I'm the best candidate for the job, I mean no disrespect to them. But I do think that my years of involvement in the community, my efforts to make the community a better place will serve the City of Kitchener well, the voters of Ward 8 well. And I really see it as the natural extension of the work that I've done at the community level, and I welcome your support on October 25th.
Thank you, candidate Scott Piatowski. We'll now hear closing statements from candidate Bill Pegg.
The residents of Ward 8 and 6 other wards in the City of Kitchener have a huge opportunity on October 25th. They're going to get to shape council, possibly, as Scott said, for many years to come. And it's an opportunity that they shouldn't take lightly. It's an opportunity they should grab hold of and really take advantage of it. But in Ward 8 specifically, you have an opportunity as well. You have an opportunity to vote for a strong voice on council. You have an opportunity to vote for a person who understands issues, but more importantly, I like to get at them. I don't like to waste time. And finally, you get to vote for a person who has a total, proven passion for our community and a commitment to our community, and who has proven that over the years in various groups that I've belonged to.
Thank you, candidate Bill Pegg. Your time is up. We'll now hear closing statements from candidate Zig Yanetsky.
in closing, I ask for your support and vote. When deciding on who to vote for, remember that you should vote for the person who's got the best municipal qualifications and experience. I stand for and represent integrity, openness, and justify spending taxpayers' money wisely. Having worked both on the inside of City Hall for more than 30 years and seeing how it operates, as well as on the outside as a private consultant, I have the excellent handle on seeing the various issues from both sides of the fence. With this first-hand experience, I'm able to provide the citizens of Ward 8 with my professional expertise. I know my way around City Hall, and I'm knowledgeable with all aspects of municipal government. A vote for Zig is a vote for excellent representation, and I welcome you to visit my new website at zigyanetsky.com. I look forward to your support on Election Day.
Thank you, candidate Zig Yanetsky. And that concludes our debate this evening for the City of Kitchener, Ward 8. I'd like to take this time now to thank the candidates. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time to join us this evening. Mr. Zig Yanetsky, Mr. Bill Pegg, and Mr. Scott Piatowski, thank you. Thank you also to our media panel guests, Paul Johnson of 570 News and Helen Kaluzhny of Rogers TV. Thank you so much for your questions. And thank you, of course, to you, the viewers. Thank you so much for taking an active interest in municipal politics and tuning in this evening. If you did not have the opportunity to see this debate in its entirety, never fear, it will be repeated for you. For a complete schedule of the repeated debates and the debates yet to come on the local campaign, be sure to access the Rogers TV Cable 20 website. That's rogerstv.com. And of course, for up-to-the-minute municipal election night results, be sure to tune into the local results Monday, October 25th, starting live at 8 p.m. right here on Rogers TV Cable 20 and simulcast on 570 News. For the local campaign, I'm Kara Harrison. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.